بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. Tonight we're going to continue with Umdah At-Taalib, the book of Siyam, the book of fasting, and this section shows the importance of knowing the Islamic calendar. This is the chapter of the recommended fast, the sunnah, the different fasts that are not obligatory, but they're recommended. And a lot of them are connected to the Islamic calendar, the months, the Islamic months, and the days, the Islamic days, or the names of the days. But more specifically, the months are a little more, I would say, not important, but firstly, he says, Rahimahullah, قال رحمه الله أفضل الصوم التطوع يوم ويوم ويسن الثلاثة من كل شهر وكونها البيض. The best voluntary fast is to fast one day and then not to fast the following day, to fast every other day, voluntary. The best voluntary fast is to fast every other day. And he says also, this is the first one. As there's 6 different voluntary fasts that I mentioned, 6 different voluntary fasts. The first one is to fast one day or to fast every other day. And this is the best voluntary fast that a person can do. The best one that a person can do, voluntary fast, is to fast every other day. There is no fast better than that. But the question is, what if a person can fast every day? If they have the ability to fast every day. Every day, generally, will be better than every other day with him. Huh? No. Every day is better than every other day. Of course. He said no. Huh? The best fast is the fast. The best fast is the fast, huh? Every other day. What makes that the best is the question.
Fast every other day.
Uh-huh. Every other day. Like, so how do we know this is the best fast every other day? Because Prophet Dawood did it, alayhi salam. I didn't read a hadith. I'm reading the text of the book. قال رحمه الله, the author says, أفضل الصوم التطوع يوم ويوم. The best voluntary fast is to fast every other day. That's what he said. Like, based on what? They gotta have some evidence. Huh? Is there a hadith that says that's the best fast? We assume it is, right? It's a hadith. There's a hadith. The hadith about the Prophet Dawood, that he fasted every other day. And the Prophet ﷺ said that that is the best fast. He said that that fast is the best fast. وَهُوَ أَفْضَلُ الصِّيَامِ. In the hadith, وَهُوَ أَفْضَلُ الصِّيَامِ, it is the best fast, the Prophet ﷺ said. Every other day, voluntary fast, he said, وَهُوَ أَفْضَلُ الصِّيَامِ. He said it is the best fast. And that hadith is مُتَّفِقٌ عَلَيْهِ. It's in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. So the best fast, as he says, the Amrihi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abdullah bin Amr, بذلك. He said to Abdullah bin Amr that هو أفضل الصيام, that is every other day. It gets no better than that. There is no fast better than fasting every other day. As the Prophet ﷺ explained, the fast of Dawood alayhi salam, which was every other day, he said that's the best fast. So even if a person had the ability to fast every day, right? That fast is not better than the fast of every other day, based on the text, based on the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. So his statement says the best fast is every other day. and this is the reason why the author says, أفضل الصوم التطوع يوم ويوم. He says the best fast, voluntary fast, is every other day. That's the first one. Because he mentioned 6 different voluntary fasts. This is the first one. The second, the voluntary fast, when you send thalathatun min kulli shahr. And it is recommended or sunnah to fast 3 days from every month. 3 days from every month. And then he says, وَكَوْنُهَا الْبِيض. And those 3 days should be the 3 white days. That's the best thing. Now, the question is, or the importance of knowing, if we want to follow this sunnah, then we have to know the Islamic months. When did the Islamic months start, and when did the Islamic months stop? Because these ahkam, these rulings, are not based on the January to December calendar. So if a person is fasting, for example, they're fasting 3 months, or 3 days, I'm sorry. Number one, it should be during the white days. That's the best time. And the white days fall in which part of the month? The middle of the month, when the moon is at its full peak, a full moon, the middle of the month. So a person has to know that it's better. It doesn't have to be the white days, but it's better that those 3 days from every month fall on the white days, right? Based on the hadith about the white days. So a person needs to know, okay, what month are we in Islamically so that I can fast on those white days, right? If we just follow in April and May, we could fast possibly, right? 3 days, but it might not be in the same month. It might be 2 in April, and then the 3rd one could be in the next month, or whatever the case may be, right? And it should be also on the white days, the white days fall in the middle of the month on the Islamic calendar. Every middle of the month, we have white days all year round, with a moon that is a full moon for those days, the white days. So we need to know the months on the calendar, the Islamic calendar, so that we can try to be as close to the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam as possible. طيب. These fasts, especially the first one, which was, what's the first one? Every other day. There's a condition, as it mentions in the explanation, the shartuhu. A condition for fasting every other day that a person has to meet. Meaning if they can't meet this condition, even though it's voluntary, it's not an obligatory fast, somebody wants to fast every other day, right? But there's a condition that is mentioned. It says, the condition is أن لا يضعف البدن حتى يعجز عما هو أفضل من القيام بحقوق الله تعالى وحقوق عباده اللازمة وإلا فتركه أفضل. The person that chooses to fast every other day, that the condition is that fasting can't cause interruption of their obligations. Fasting every other day it's not something like it's every other day fasting, right? As they say, it can't cause you to become so weak from fasting that you can't uphold your obligations to Allah Jalla wa'ala. So a person's fasting every other day, right? But there's so much on them, they oversleep during the day, so they oversleep the salah. So now they're fasting every other day, which is the best fast, voluntary fast that a person can do. But when they do that, they sleep, and they sleep past the time of Asr. So they don't pray Asr until the time of Maghrib, right? Or it wears on their body so much, they don't pray Dhuhr. So they sleep through Dhuhr, and by the time they wake up, now it's Asr, right? It's too much for them. If it causes a person that they can't uphold their obligations to Allah, then they say that they shouldn't fast. They shouldn't do this type of fast every other day. Or if they're not able to uphold their obligation to the creation, then they shouldn't fast every other day. What obligation to the creation? Huh?
Pray.
Obligation to the creation.
Spouse.
Maybe,
Family.
huh?
Family.
To their family. Maybe between the spouses. Either it's the woman fasting or the man. That they're so tired they're not able to go to their spouse. Or their spouse is not able to come to them and be intimate with them because they're too tired from fasting every other day. If it pushes a person to this point, then they say that they should leave it off. So that's the second voluntary fast. The second voluntary fast. As the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا صُمْتَ تَأَبِي ذَرْ إِذَا صُمْتَ مِنْ كُلِّ شَهْرٍ ثَلَاثَ أَيَّامٍ فَصُمْ 13 و14 و15. If you were to fast 3 days from every month, then fast on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. The 13th of the month, the 14th of the month, and the 15th of the month. But again, the 13th, 14th, and the 15th is connected to the Islamic calendar. Because the 13th, 14th, and the 15th of every month on the Islamic calendar is going to be a full moon, the white days, right? So, because it's the 13th, 14th, and the 15th of March, or April, or June, or July, whatever, it doesn't necessitate that they're going to fall in line with the white days. It could, it might, but it's not, it doesn't necessitate it. طيب. He says after that, which is the third voluntary fast, al-ithnain wal-ithnain wal-khamis. Fasting on Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays and Thursdays. Every Monday and Thursday. Every Monday and Thursday is sunnah to fast. طيب. And this is important for us as Muslims, that at least we know that a lot of people do not prefer Monday. It's not like a good day for a lot of people. It's a complaint, Monday, right? People complain and they go to work about it being Monday, right? But the Prophet ﷺ, he said about Monday, and he said this about Monday and Thursday. He said, هُمَا يَوْمَانِ تُعْرَضُ فِيهِمَا الْأَعْمَالُ عَلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. These 2 days are the days that actions are presented to Allah Jalla wa'ala. The person's actions are presented to Allah on a Monday, Mondays and Thursdays. And then he said, وَأُحِبُّ أَنْ يُعْرَضَ عَمَلِي وَأَنَا صَائِمٌ. He said, and I would like that when my actions are presented to Allah, that I'm fasting when my actions are presented. The benefit of a Monday, that it's not as bad as, people may think it is. طيب, this is the third one. طيب, so we got fasting every other day, fasting 3 days out of the month, fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, and then he says, وَسِتْ مِنْ شَوَّالٍ, fasting 6 days from Shawwal. Shawwal is what month? After Ramadan, which is Shawwal is month number 10, the 10th month. The 10th month on the Islamic calendar, fasting 6 days the month after Ramadan. طيب, he says, وَالْأَفْضَلْ عَقِبَ الْعِيدِ مُتَوَالِيًا. And it's better to fast those 6 days, right, after the Eid, to fast them all together, 6 straight, right? He said it's what? Better. Not that you can't break them up, but it's better. طيب. He says, عَقِبَ الْعِيدِ, after the Eid. After the day of the Eid, which means what? Huh? Huh? He said, عَقِبَ الْعِيدِ. He said, fast 6 days of Shawwal after the Eid, which means
You can't fast on the Eid.
don't fast on the Eid, right? Don't fast on the day of the Eid, even though the day of the Eid is the first of Shawwal. It's from the month of Shawwal, right? It's from the month of Shawwal, but after the day of the Eid, and that's going to come back in a minute. He's going to go back to that in a minute. Inshallah. طيب. So fasting 6 days from Shawwal, they should be after the Eid in continuous, if a person is able to. Due to the hadith, من صام رمضان واتبعه ستة من شوال فكأنما الصام دهر. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever fasts Ramadan, and then they fast 6 days from Shawwal the following month, it is as if they fasted an entire year. So, the benefit of fasting a month and approximately 6 days. If we go high, if Ramadan we say it's 30 days, plus 6 more, fasting 36 days, a person can get the reward as if they fasted an entire year. Alhamdulillah. And that is from the easiness and the ease of Islam, benefits and reward like that a person can fast a little over a month, and receive the reward as if they fasted over 300 days for fasting approximately, on a high note, 36 days. Could be 35, depending on if the month of Ramadan is 29 or 30 days. Tayyib. So this is the fourth. The fourth voluntary is to fast 6 days from Shawwal. Tayyib. It says, وَشَهْرُ الْمُحَرَّمِ شَهْرُ اللَّهِ الْمُحَرَّمِ وَآكَدُهُ عَاشُورَا ثُمَّ تَاسُوعًا. The fifth one is fasting the month of Al-Muharram. The month of Al-Muharram, which on the Islamic calendar is what number? The first month on the Islamic calendar. Now, if we don't know when Muharram is, then we don't know the benefit of fasting of Muharram. Because Muharram does not, because the month Al-Muharram is the first month on the Islamic calendar, it doesn't necessitate, it doesn't equal that it is January. It's the first month on the Islamic calendar, but it doesn't mean that's January every year. Like, it could be one year where Muharram is in January, possibly, but it doesn't mean every year around that the month Al-Muharram is the month of January. That's why we have to know the Islamic months. And at this point, it's not really hard because the Islamic months are written on the applications that people have on their phone. All the phone apps that call the adhan, they generally tell you the month all year round. But we got to pay attention to them. We're paying attention to the normal calendar. But if we want to get benefits like this, then we have to pay attention to the Islamic calendar. That's Shahr al-Muharram. Al-Muharram is the first month. He says, and the most emphasized day of that month that should be fasted is the 10th of Muharram. The 10th of Muharram. Yom Ashura. Tayyib. The Prophet ﷺ said, أفضل الصيام بعد رمضان. The best fast monthly. The best fast monthly after Ramadan. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Shahrullah al-Muharram, Rawahu Muslim, reported by Imam Muslim. The best fast monthly after Ramadan is fast in the month of al-Muharram, which is the first month. And the most emphasized fast in that month is the 10th of Muharram, right? Yom Ashura. We know Yom Ashura. The benefit of fasting Yom Ashura. Huh? The story of Musa.
Part of the story. You know, the story's big.
The Prophet ﷺ said, number one, the author says, he says, Akaduhu Ashura, the most emphasized day is the 10th day of that month, and then the second most emphasized day is the 9th day of that month. Tayyib. He specified the best day and then the second best day. It says, because the Messenger ﷺ said that in Baqaytu ila qabil, that's min al-tasi' wal 'ashir. He said, if I were to live into the next year, I would fast the 9th and the 10th. The 9th and the 10th. The 10th is Ashura, and the 9th, because the Prophet ﷺ said if he would live to the next year, that he would fast both of them. He would fast the 9th and the 10th of Ashura. With that fasting of the 10th. And all of this goes back because we can't get the benefit of these fasts if we don't know the months. The Sawmu Ashura kafaratu sana. that fasting that one day during the month of Muharram, the 10th of Muharram, fasting that one day is a forgiveness or erases the sins for one entire year. Fasting one day is a kafara, erasing sins for an entire year. So it's important to know when is the 10th of Muharram. Because if we go by all year, we don't know the days and the months, we miss fasting. We miss a one-day fast that could erase sins for an entire year just by not knowing our calendar, by not paying attention to our own calendar. So that was the fifth fast. The sixth recommended fast, he says, وَتِسْعُ ذِي الْحِجَّةِ, and fasting the 9 days of Dhul Hijjah. The 9 days of Dhul Hijjah. Do we know Dhul Hijjah? We got to be paying attention to Dhul Hijjah. وَأَفْضَلُهُ يَوْمَ عَرَفَةٍ لِغَيْرِ حَاجٍ بِهَا ثُمَّ يَوْمَ التَّرْوِيَةِ. Dhul Hijjah is the last month on the Islamic calendar. The last month on the Islamic calendar is Dhul Hijjah, when the people make Hajj, right? So right now, the people will be making Hajj Ramadan. As you can see right now, it's Sha'ban. But Ramadan is going to start almost a week inside of May. So they don't line up exactly. They're not going to line up exactly. Fasting the 9 days of Dhul Hijjah, it's another reward attached to it. Fasting those 9 days is for the person who's not on Hajj. For the person who's not on Hajj. طيب. As the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ عَمَلَ الصَّالِحِ فِيهِنَّ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَيَّامِ الْعَشْرِ. He said, there's no good deed more beloved to Allah that is done in these 10 days. طيب. The deed done in these 10 days are the most beloved deeds to Allah Jalla wa'ala during the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. طيب. And those are the days when the people are making Hajj. They're on Hajj from the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the 9th, the 10th. The 10th is Arafah. The 9th is Arafah. And then the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, pay attention. He said, fast the 9 days of Dhul Hijjah. The hadith says that there are no days, there are no actions more beloved to Allah done like the actions that are done in these 10 days. The 10th day is the Eid. So we know we don't fast on the Eid. So when he said that, the Sahaba said, قالوا يا رسول الله ولا جهاد في سبيل الله. He said, there's no action done in these 10 days more beloved to Allah except that they're done in those 10 days. Is that clear?
Yes.
That's one.
Yeah.
The best actions, most beloved actions to Allah are the actions done in those 10 days of the Hijjah. They said not even, there's no action better than that, not even jihad fi sabilillah. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَا jihad fi sabilillah. Not even jihad, that a person goes to jihad and fights in a war, a battle. He said, except for the person who goes out to jihad, he puts his self on the line, he puts his life on the line, and puts all his wealth on the line. فَلَمْ يَرْجَعْ مِنْ ذَلِكَ شَيْئًا. And they don't come back with anything. They die out there, money is gone, and they leave everything on the battlefield. Except for that person, if you're not doing that, then all other actions in those 10 days are the most beloved actions to Allah Jalla wa'ala. Only person better than that, according to the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, is the one who puts everything that he has on the line and he dies out there. He doesn't come back with anything. Tayyib, showing the importance of knowing the months. And imagine if we don't know those months yearly and those 10 days pass every year. 10 days pass every year with that reward, and that hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Tayyib, the best day to fast, as he says, for the one not making Hajj, is Yom Arafah. For the one not making Hajj, Yom Arafah, which is the 9th of those 10 days. See, none of this matters if we don't know when Dhul Hijjah is in the first place, right? That's why the importance of moon sightings is not just only Ramadan, right? If we really want these rewards, we gotta be attached to the Islamic calendar, because there are rewards throughout the Islamic calendar all year round. So the first 10 days, this is going normally, well, every year, that's towards the second Eid, right? So it's always a increased awareness, right, with everybody, because the Eid is attached to that sighting. But outside of that sighting, it's a different rewards attached all year long. So the best day for the person not making Hajj is to fast the 9th. So when that time comes, most people, they'll fast that one day. They'll just fast on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, right? But the fast is not restricted to that one day. You can fast all 9 days. So that's the first day, or the best day for the one not making Hajj. And then after that, Yom Tarwiyah. The second day, he says, during those 10 days, the second best day is the 8th day, which is the day that the Hajjaj, they take, or they go up to Mina for the first day, which is the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. None of that matters if we don't know the months. He says, the hadith about fasting on the 9th, because the previous fast was erase the sins for 1 year, right? Fasting Yom Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, right? The reward, sins erased for 1 year. Fasting the 9th, the day of Arafat, when all the people are standing on Arafat making dua. The people who are not on Arafat, fasting that day. The Prophet ﷺ said, صيام يوم عرفة أحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله والسنة التي بعده. He said that the fasting on that day, the 9th day, right? He said it's hoped that a person's sins will be removed for the previous year and the coming year. 2 years for fasting 1 day, a voluntary fast. 2 years of sins erased for fasting a voluntary fast that many people miss. A lot of Muslims miss it every year, have no clue, because they're worried about what? Huh? They're worried about their Eid. July 4th. No, because it could be in the winter, right? If it's in the winter, they ain't got to worry about July 4th, but they're worried about their Eid. They're more worried about their Eid, right? Worried about getting dressed for their Eid, what we're going to do after their Eid, not the Eid Salah. Getting dressed for their Eid, what we're going to do after their Eid, what we're going to eat after their Eid, right? Let alone the Eid Salah, let alone the reward for fasting the day previous to that. That 2 years of sins erased for fasting 1 day, for fasting 1 day. The hadith is in Sahih Muslim. And there's another hadith the day before that, which is the 8th. All this again goes back to, because after Ramadan, when the moon sighting comes for Ramadan, it's going to be, of course, as it is every year, it's going to be an issue, right? If you go through Ramadan, everything settles down. Then for the second Eid, for the fasting, it's going to be an issue with the moon sighting. But those sightings are important, because those cover the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. And this day, for fasting 1 day, removal of 2 years worth of sins is connected to the beginning of the month. So some people, they say, listen, I'm going to do all 9 just to be safe. Right? I'm just do all of them just to be on the safe side. Right? And if you just fasted the 1 day, the 9th, inshallah, khair. Tayyib. He says now he moves on. So those are the 6 voluntary fasts. Tayyib, the 6 voluntary fasts. Now he moves on to the voluntary fasts that are disliked. Not haram, but necessarily, because something is disliked doesn't necessarily mean it is haram. طيب. He says, Rahimahullah, وَكُرِهَ إِفْرَادُ رَجَبٍ وَالسَّبْتِ وَالْجُمْعَةِ وَعِيدٍ لِكُفَّارِ بِصَوْمٍ. He said it is disliked for a person to Ifrad al-Rajab, to fast the entire month of Rajab. That doesn't mean anything to a person who doesn't know what Rajab is, right? Rajab is another month on the Islamic calendar. It's disliked to fast that entire month. As it says, لِأَنَّ فِيهِ إِحْيَاء لِشَعَائِرِ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. Because the people of Jahiliyyah, before the sending of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to use that month, and they used to use it for worship and ibadah, and they made a lot of ta'zim for that month. They glorified that month. So in order not to be taking on those traits of the people of Jahiliyyah, then it's disliked to fast that entire month. So what does a person do if they want to fast on Rajab? Because you got to remember, fasting every other day is for every month in the year. Fasting Mondays and Thursdays is for every month in the year. Tayyib? Fasting the 3 white days is every month, all through the year. But here it says, Ifrad Rajab. Ifrad Rajab. It says to fast the entire month of Rajab without taking the day off. Right? So what do it do? He says, فَإِنْ أَفْطَرَ مِنْهُ أَوْ صَامَ مَعَهُ شَهْرًا مِنَ السَّنَةِ زَادَتْ الْكَرَاهَةِ. If a person, some days they fast for Rajab during that month, and some days they break their fast, then it's not disliked. Or if they fast Rajab in another month with Rajab, then it's not disliked. The dislike ruling comes in to fast the entire month of Rajab like that. But if a person fasts some days and break their fast some days, then it is not disliked. So if a person only fasts the 3 white days on Rajab, then it's no problem. It's not disliked to fast the 3 white days on Rajab.
So when I write it down, just write down fasting the whole month of Rajab.
Right, the entire month of Rajab. It's disliked to fast the entire month of Rajab. So it's not disliked to fast Mondays and Thursdays on Rajab. Tayyib. Tayyib. He says, وَإِفْرَادُ السَّبْتِ. Ifrad al-Sabt. It is also disliked to fast only Saturday. To fast on Saturday only. طيب. لحديث لا تصوموا يوم السبت إلا فيما افترض عليكم. The hadith that Imam Ahmad rahimahullah recorded, the Prophet ﷺ said, do not fast on Saturday except something that is an obligatory fast. An obligatory fast. Don't voluntarily just fast Saturday. Did I say Sunday? Saturday. Don't just fast Saturday alone. Meaning what? You should either fast what? Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. This is the fraud. Don't single out Saturday just to fast. I'm going to just fast on Saturday by itself. Right? This is the fraud, to single it out alone. But to fast it Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. طيب. وإفراد الجمعة. Don't just fast Yom al-Jum'ah by itself. Right? Don't just fast Yom al-Jum'ah by itself. Why not? Huh? It's Eid. Sorry. We'll fast on the days of Eid. It's Eid. That's the second thing they use. It's another hadith. لا تصوموا يوم الجمعة إلا وقبله يوم أو بعده يوم. This hadith is in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. Don't fast on Yom al-Jum'ah except that you fast a day with it, from in front of it Thursday and Friday, or you fast Friday and Saturday. So if you fasted Friday and Saturday, right, you avoided the 2 disliked areas. You didn't fast Saturday by itself. You didn't fast Friday by itself. Also mentioned that it is an Eid. Jumu'ah is an Eid or Spor Eid. It's a weekly Eid, celebration for the Muslims. So that's 3 disliked fasts so far. And it's 5 fasts that are disliked. He says after that, وَعِيدٍ لِكُفَّارٍ. And it is disliked to fast Eid for the disbelievers, those who do not believe in Allah and His Messenger. They have a day that they take as their Eid, right? They're not Muslim, and they have their own celebrations. So, they have their own celebrations. Do they celebrate? It's a problem we got. Do we see a bunch of non-Muslims going out, dressing up for their Eid and getting prepared and doing anything when it comes to their Eid? La. It's not important, right? They have their own celebrations that they see to be important. And they don't see their Eid, not the first Eid or the second Eid of ours, to be of any importance, which is fine. But it seems like we feel we have to honor their celebrations. We got to participate in their celebrations, which could involves shirk, putting partners with Allah, right? That we have to show that we really, they don't show up at the Eid, right? They don't come out there and do the takbir with us or anything. They don't have to, right? They don't have to. They come out. They do some. Some of them do come. So hey. But in general, the importance is given to their own celebration, which is fine. It's their deen. Lakum dinukum waliya deen. They have their deen, they have their religion, we have ours. So they don't give any importance to our Eid, and it doesn't necessitate. It doesn't mean we have to disrespect them on their day of celebration. It doesn't mean we have to belittle them, talk nasty to them, or anything like that. It doesn't mean any of that. But it also doesn't mean that we have to participate in their celebrations. It doesn't necessitate that we have to participate in their celebrations. So he says, it is disliked to single out a day that they are having an Eid on, a celebration on, some of their Eids. He says in the Sharh, kulli yawm yufradunahu bita'dhim. And we shouldn't single out any day that they hold, any day that a non-Muslim holds to be of some importance to them, right? We shouldn't take that day and single it out as fasting. Now, let's just say one of their celebrations falls on a Monday, right? It's sunnah to fast on Monday, right? Mondays and Thursdays is sunnah to fast. So that doesn't mean we have to leave off getting the reward that we were taught from the Prophet ﷺ because the non-Muslims are having a celebration. Clear? We don't have to leave off fasting the white days because the white days, right, every month. This month is Christmas on a white day. So I'm not going to fast the white days because it's Christmas. No. To single out a day that the non-Muslims have in one of their celebrations and use it as fasting, this is disliked. Clear? That's the fourth one. So the first one was fasting the entire month of Rajab. The second one was fasting only Saturday, to single Saturday out by itself. The third one, fasting only Jumu'ah. To single out Yom al-Jumu'ah and fast by itself. The fourth disliked fast is to fast a day that is considered a celebration for the non-Muslims. And if any of those days fall, well, we already spoke about it. The last disliked fast was Yom al-Shak in Kana Laylatul Sahwan. Yom al-Shak, which we kind of spoke about this in the beginning of the book. The 30th Yom Thalathin in Sha'ban. The 30th day of Sha'ban. When is Sha'ban? Right now, before Ramadan. At the end of this month, because the month could be 29 or 30 days. So, as it says, when they go to sight the moon, right? The 30th day of Sha'ban. As the night precedes the day, which means they will go out to look for the moon on the 30th night, which will be the night before. They go to look at the moon the night before, it's clear, and they don't see anything. Right? It's clear. Hey, they're looking for the moon because Ramadan could be tomorrow. Right? In Sha'ban, we go through 29 days, which means the next day could be Ramadan. It don't have to be, but it's possible. So the people go out on the 29th day, and they're looking. Right? Because the next day is the 30th night, right? Like, and so they go out on that day, on that night, I'm sorry, 29th, and they look, it's clear out. They don't see the moon or anything. So what do people do? They'll say, you know what, I'm gonna fast tomorrow just in case. It's doubtful, I don't know. We didn't see anything, but, right? They call it Yom Shek. It's a day of doubt, Yom Shek, right? Or the Yom Thalathim in Sha'ban. To fast that day, you go out there, it's clear, you don't see anything, don't fast, right? That's not what we spoke about earlier. We spoke about you go out there and it's what? It's cloudy. That's a different issue. You go out on that day, it's cloudy. You can't tell if the moon is there or not. And they say, well, like Ibn Omar would do, he would fast ihtiyatan. Ibn Omar would fast just out of precaution because it was cloudy. These people, they go out and it's clear, right? And then they fast anyway the next day. They say this fast is disliked. This fast is disliked, and this is the fifth disliked fast. Day of doubt. Day of doubt, which is 30th of Sha'ban. But when you go back to your notes, you gotta keep in mind that that was the prior night was what?
The 29th.
La.
30th.
The prior night was the 30th night.
Oh, because the day precedes.
Right, now.
Right. Yom Thalathim. طيب. Now he moves on to the fasts that are haram. Fasting days. What days is it haram to fast on? That you cannot fast. It is not permissible to fast. It says, firstly, وَيَحْرُمُ صَوْمُ يَوْمٍ عِيد مُطْلَقًا. It is not permissible to fast on any Eid. Whether that fasting is an obligatory fast or not. Clear? Is it possible a person could fast an obligatory fast on the Eid? Huh? How would they do that?
Thursday, Friday.
Ramadan, you gotta fast.
La. Eid. Now it's Eid. Ramadan's over. Is it possible for a person to fast an obligatory fast on their Eid?
No, you didn't say no.
Huh?
You said whether it was obligatory or not, you can't fast.
The question is it possible? Ramadan's over. Is it possible for a person to fast an obligatory fast on the day of their Eid?
Yeah, I'm saying that they recite the moon thing, like the day for the dough that.
No, let's assume everything is clear.
No, you can't fast on the Eid. There's no obligatory fast on the Eid.
Is it possible that a person comes on the day of their Eid and they're fasting an obligatory fast?
Yeah,
That's the question. It's the same question. I asked the same question 4 times,
You
Sheikh.
said, can they? Yeah, because they might not start to get fast at the same time.
No, we all start at the same time.
Ain't no obligatory fasting.
Possibly could have forgotten
Forgot what?
that if there was the lead, may not have been informed.
I'm not. They're totally aware of what they're doing.
There's no obligatory fast on the Eid.
Like, that's not the question. The question is it possible?
You can do it, but it might not be, it's not going to be accepted.
They could do it. Pay attention. A person comes. It's a possibility. Is it possible that a person can even come and say, I'm fasting an obligatory fast today? It's obligatory. I got to fast today.
Yeah,
They making something up?
he had made an oath.
If you made an oath, good. That's one way. They made an oath to do something. Once you make an oath, if Allah give me this job, I'm fasting a day for Allah. Now that day is obligatory. So they come Yom Eid and they say, I'm fasting. How you fasting? I made an oath. Right? Doesn't mean that they can continue. That doesn't mean it's permissible. Right? You with me? It don't mean that they're right. But that's not even what I was talking about. A person might come on Yom Eid and say, I missed 2 days in Ramadan, so I'm making my days up. Right? Huh? Like, it's not permissible to do. I'm saying, is it possible a person could come and say that? They missed 3 days in Ramadan, they were sick. A woman, she had her menses, she missed 7 days. That means she got to make up 7 obligatory days from Ramadan. So she comes to their Eid and she's fasting. I say, sister, you can't fast today. She said, I got to fast. I got to do obligatory fast. I got to make my days up. Right? You can't fast. Haram to fast on Yom Eid. That means she can't, nobody can start making up days till after their Eid. So even if a person had a possibility that it's an obligatory fast, that they have to fast, whether it's an oath, a day from Ramadan, a day from the previous Ramadan, whatever the case may be, it's an obligatory fast. They come Yom Eid and they say, I'm fasting today. Nah, you can't fast today. But it's obligatory. It's not permissible to fast on the day of their Eid, even if it's an obligatory fast. They would have to wait until after the day of their Eid and then start fasting. Walden? Clear? Later. It don't mean if they came and they were fasting that they right. It doesn't mean that they came and it's going to be that they're going to have to finish it. They just come and they don't know. A person might not know. They say, I got to make days up. I'm starting my days. I want to get them out the way fast. I don't want to wait too long. I want to get it while I'm in the groove. So I'm going to start the day. You can't start the day on the day of their Eid. This is the first one. Fasting that is impermissible is the day of their Eid. Any Eid. طيب. He says, secondly, وَأَيَّامْ تَشْرِيقٍ وَأَيَّامْ تَشْرِيقٍ إِلَّا عِنْدَ مُتْعٍ أَوْ قِرَانٍ. The days of Tashriq, which are connected to the days of Hajj. Right? As the Prophet ﷺ said, أَيَّامُ التَّشْرِيقِ أَيَّامُ الْأَكْلِ وَالشُّرْبِ وَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. That these days of Tashriq are the days of eating and drinking and making the dhikr of Allah. And these are those days that we know on the second Eid. The second Eid. When we go into the masjid, and you ever go into a masjid and they're making the dhikr after the salah? Huh? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Huh? A lot of brothers look at them like they shout out, Sunnah, Sunnah, this Sunnah. Brothers be looking at them like, you know, they off because they making dhikr. Sunnah. Those days are Ayyam al-Tashriq. That is not permissible to fast those days. As the Prophet ﷺ said, those are days for eating and drinking and making the dhikr of Allah. Those days are connected to the second Eid, Hajj. They're connected to the second Eid. Tayyib. That's a sunnah that we should try to practice. We shouldn't be shy in practicing the sunnah. It's dhikr. It's dhikr. My brothers ran out of a masjid one time because the man turned around and he started making the sunnah dhikr. So I'm going outside. He ran. He was trying to run out of there. Sunnah. Tashriq. Tashriq. Ayyam al-Tashriq. TASHRIQ or EEQ. Tashriq. Tashriq. طيب. For you, Ta. No. Tashin. طيب. It says, لقول ابن عمر وعائشة. It says the statement of Ibn Umar, Abdullah bin Umar wa Aisha, لم يرخص في أيام التشريق أن يصمنا. We were not allowed to fast the days of Tashriq. We were not allowed to fast the days of Tashriq. إلا لمن لم يجد الهدي. Except for the one who didn't, and this has a person with a person doing Hajj, who didn't have an animal to slaughter. طيب. He says after that, ومن دخل في فرض حرم قطعه ولا يلزم إتمام النفل. Now, whoever enters into an obligatory action of worship, it's haram to cut it off, to stop it. Clear? Haram just to start praying Dhuhr, for example, without an excuse, and then just break the salat without a valid excuse. Clear? This is a qaida principle. It's used here, but it's used in other places. من دخل في فرض حرم قطعه. So if a person had to make up an obligatory, and even during Ramadan, the days of Ramadan are obligatory, right? A person needs a valid excuse to break their fast during Ramadan. You can't just, I'm gonna just make this drawing up. I'm gonna chalk this one. I'm gonna make it up though. I'm gonna make it up, but I'm gonna just, right? Huh? This one? La. This is, he only mentioned two for the impermissible fast. He only mentioned two. This has to do with qat'a niyya. A person stopping their intention to continue to complete the fast. That when a person enters into an obligatory action, a fast as it is here, then they cannot just stop the action without a valid reason. So if I'm making up a fast on Ramadan, what would give me, I'm making up a fast on Ramadan, all right? What would give me a valid reason to break my fast that day? I'm traveling. If I'm traveling, I got a valid reason to break the fast. I can break the fast, right? A suffer. Or I'm sick. I get sick. It's a valid reason to break the fast. But what if I'm like, you know what? I was fasting today, but you know, I just don't want to fast. I'm just without a reason. Not permissible just to break a fard, something that is obligatory without a valid reason. What if it is a voluntary action? A voluntary action. He says that a person doesn't have to complete a voluntary fast, right? Voluntary actions, so which include, as he says in Soman, from the fasting, or salat, praying. A person might stand up after the salat to pray sunnahs after Isha, right? These are voluntary. Brother go in the back, hit the lights while he's praying. He's closing. He's closing up. It's getting late. He got to close up. So the brother's praying is sunnah, right? He might think, I already started praying, I got to finish them. That's for obligatory. If this is a voluntary prayer, right? And it might be emergency, it could be anything. Then in that case, it's not obligatory to complete those. We're not saying you should complete it, just giving an example. Or voluntary fast. A person starts fasting on Monday, outside of Ramadan. Just a Monday, I'm going to fast Mondays and Thursdays. They start fasting on Monday, they say, I ain't going to be able to make it all the way through, I'm going to just break it, I'm going to try Thursday. Those voluntary actions are able to be broken, right, once they start. But the obligatory fast, la. They said, وَلَا قَضَاءُ فَاسِدِهِ. And the person doesn't have to make that voluntary action up. Clear? Two situations. I missed some days during Ramadan. After Ramadan, I have to make those days up. That means after Ramadan, when I'm making up a day of Ramadan, that's an obligatory day of fasting. I start fasting that day, I can't just break it just because I feel like breaking it. I need a valid reason to break it. The second situation, I'm fasting a sunnah, right? I'm fasting on Thursday. It's a sunnah to fast Thursday. It's not Ramadan, it's just a sunnah. I start fasting Thursday, I feel like, you know what? I don't really feel, it's going to be rough today. I'm going to just break it, right? If I break it, it's no sin and I don't have to make it up. Whereas if I broke the Ramadan fast, I will still have to make it up because it's obligatory fast. It doesn't just drop off. Clear? The only voluntary actions that you cannot, that cannot be broken like that are the voluntary Hajj and Umrah. That once you start in Ihram, you get in Ihram, you make your niyya, make the talbiyah, right? If you've been to Hajj and Umrah, you know. You coming down to Mecca for Hajj, it's too much traffic. A person say, man, it's too much traffic, I'm gonna just come, maybe make a U-turn, right? They say, I'm gonna come this weekend, right? I'm gonna wait until, maybe it's the weekend so it's crowded. They say, I'm gonna just wait till the middle of the week. And they already got in Ihram and started towards the Hajj, even though it's voluntary that they can't break those two. They can't break the Hajj and the Umrah. That it is obligatory once a person starts with Ihram laziman, that they have to continue. It says, so if they were to do that and break their Ihram, it says, lazimahu al-qada, then they would have to make it up. They would have to make up their Hajj or their Umrah, even though it was voluntary. The last thing he mentions in this chapter is The issues dealing with Laylatul Qadr. وترجى ليلة القدر في العشر الأخير من رمضان وأوتاره آكل. That a person, the night of decree, or some people call it the night of power. The night of power, some people call it the night of decree, Laylatul Qadr. It says, it is looked for in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. The last 10. طيب. In the most, now it gets a little more specific. The last 10 nights is general. The last 10 nights is general, right? Because during the last 10 nights, we have odd nights and even nights. So the last 10 nights is general. Then it gets more specific. The odd nights are more emphasized. The Laylatul Qadr will be on the odd nights during the last 10 nights. During the odd nights, during the last 10 nights of the Prophet ﷺ said, اطلبوها في العشر الأواخر في 3 باقين أو 7 باقين أو 9 باقين. I'm sorry. طيب. So during the last 10 nights, Laylatul Qadr, we know Laylatul Qadr is not during the first 10, that we hope it's in the last 10. What nights during the last 10? The odd nights. And then he goes a little more specific. وَأَبْلَغُهَا لَيْلَةُ 27. And the most emphasized night of the odd nights is the 27th. The most emphasized night of the odd nights is the 27th. لقول ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما وأبي بن كعب رضي الله عنه وغيرهما. Due to the statement of Ibn Abbas, this is and Ubay ibn Ka'b, that what? The most emphasized night that a person, the Muslims are looking for Laylatul Qadr is the 27th night. Does that mean it can't be on the 25th or the 29th? It doesn't mean that. The most emphasized due to athar, their narrations that mention, and that's a whole issue that we won't go into now, about the night. But the most emphasized night due to the statement of Ibn Abbas and Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anhuma. Those are hadith are tayyib. It says, وَحِكْمَةُ, what is the hikmah, the wisdom behind keeping Laylatul Qadr that night? As Allah said, worship that night is like worshiping 1,000 months. One night of worship equal to 1,000 months. So it could be the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, 29th. What's the benefit of not specifying which night it is?
So people would just come out on a specific night, but they would try to increase their ibadah the whole time.
So that the people follow the sunnah. The sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that he will go hard the last 10, not just on the 27th. He will go hard all 10 nights. So if a person is serious about getting that night, worshiping on that night, and getting 1,000 months worth of worship in one night, then they're not going to restrict their worship to the 27th, which is towards the end of the last 10 nights, right? As he says, so that the person will be diligent in trying to catch that night. And the last thing, وَيَكُونُ مِن دُعَائِهِ فِيهَا اللَّهُمَّ إِنَّكَ عَفُوٌ تُحِبُّ الْعَفْوَ فَاعْفُ عَنِّي. And that a person makes the dua during that night, Laylatul Qadr, oh Allah, you are the partner, you love to pardon, so pardon me. And this is a dua that you hear a lot of the imams during Taraweeh. They recite this dua. And it's only, let's say, 7 words. We should try to memorize them. 7 words. We memorize things much longer than 7 words. This is something we should try to memorize. Before Ramadan hits, before the last 10 nights hit, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbu al-afwa fa'fu anni. That we should try to memorize this dua before Ramadan, before the last 10 nights hit, just like the dua we spoke about for breaking the fast. That we should try to memorize the dua for breaking the fast before Ramadan hits. Don't wait until Ramadan and then try to memorize it, because it might take you, everybody's different. It might take you 2 weeks to memorize it. Now you're going to do 2 weeks of making the dua at the time of breaking the fast, when we right now have approximately 2 weeks left. Work on during these 2 weeks to memorize the dua for breaking the fast, so by Ramadan we're ready. And then that dua, this dua, for Laylatul Qadr, even if we started the first day of Ramadan, we still have 3 weeks, 20 days or so, to memorize that dua. What's the next chapter, yeah? The next chapter, the next bab is Bab al-I'tikaf. We won't do it tonight though, because it's time to pray. The next chapter is the chapter of al-I'tikaf. Any other questions? Okay.
For example, Ramadan falls on Tuesday. It's recommended to still voluntarily fast on Monday, or should we be off?
If Ramadan falls on Tuesday, should you fast on Monday? If that's a person's norm, if their norm is that they normally fast Mondays and Thursdays, and then it happens to be that, okay, Ramadan is going to fall, that's one thing. But if you don't normally fast on Mondays and Thursdays, and the way it's looking, everybody knows that Ramadan is going to possibly be on Tuesday, then it might be better to stay away from fasting on Monday.
Would that fall under the category of being disliked?
Disliked, based on the hadith, don't fast the day before or the day. If you did it without, and it's not your norm, possibly if. Not if it's your norm. If you did it and it's not your norm. I don't ever fast on Mondays and Thursdays. The person, they never fast Mondays and Thursdays. They know that Ramadan is coming this Tuesday coming up, for example. They say, well, I'm going to fast Monday now because Ramadan might be Tuesday. No, in that case, they shouldn't fast due to the other hadith. Don't fast a day before or 2 days before Ramadan. Right? So if they want to do something, they need to fast at least 3 days before Ramadan to stay away from any gray area, anything being disliked.
What would be considered a voluntary Hajj or Umrah if you already did it before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As you know, if you already performed Hajj before, then every Hajj after that is voluntary. So yeah, if you already performed Umrah before, every Umrah after that is Umrah obligatory.
Some people say
Some of the men consider Umrah to be obligatory. That's why he said Hajj and Umrah. Some of the scholars consider Umrah to be wajibah, obligatory. Therefore, that's why I said if you already made Umrah before, or if you already made Hajj before, right? Then everything after those, the first one is sunnah, recommended. But even if you started, once you get in Ihram, you can't get there and say, you know what, it's too crowded, I'm gonna just take off my Ihram and go back. Itmamuha, that they have to be completed. Tayyib? Any other questions? But we're going to do, inshallah, I'tikaf, that will I'tikaf next week. And then probably after that, we'll probably wait for the last. The last thing, we'll probably do that later, so that'll be fresh. Zakat al-Fitr. Maybe wait till towards the end of Ramadan, so that'll be fresh and do Zakat al-Fitr. So I guess that will I'tikaf will be the last chapter for the book of fasting for now, then at the end, inshallah. Allahumma balagha Ramadan. If we reach to the end of Ramadan, if we're still here, then we'll do the chapter of Zakat al-Fitr. Inshallah, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.